This is a war of aggression.
What is international law? Who's enforcing international law?
Who is the aggressor here?
Us. We are the aggressor.
Can you name a single political concession we've gotten from them? Anything at all?
Or are you talking to
any political concession? Because you can't name one.
So here's what we're doing.
No political concessions.
When you get up past your bedtime, you get hyper. Here's the deal.
We are.
You can call piracy and if words don't have any meaning, but like we have sanctions against these vessels. And
name one political concession. Name one political concession.
Good evening. I'm Abby Phillip in New York. Tonight, a new question. Just how popular is this war with Iran? President Trump says that the war with Iran could take days at first if he wanted to, but then he said it would be weeks. And now he says that now that it's carried into its third month, despite higher gas prices at home and plummeting polls at home as well, Pete Hegseth is saying that America is right behind the president.
This Abby Phillips CNN panel is going absolutely viral, and there are only two sane voices in the entire room, Scott Jennings and Peter Meijer. Watch what Adam Mockler does.
When I talk to Americans, and especially when I talk to the troops, they are grateful for a president who has the courage to take on this threat after 47 years of what Iran has done, targeting and killing Americans.
What I'm concerned about is we are not safer, and I would just like to know why you have not sought the support of the American people, and 3 out of 5 Americans are against this war today.
I believe we do have the support of the American people, and we have briefed regularly what this mission looks like and why it's critically important that we undertake it.
You don't care whether
When
the American people support this war.
The American people are quite smart. They understand and see through spin. They know that a regime that says death to America, that seeks nuclear weapons and the ability to deliver. Did they lie about the range of their missiles?
Yeah, Pete Hegseth wasn't acting macho. He was playing a macho person on TV. He is not actually macho. We are dealing with a war that is failing on a daily basis as Donald Trump has taken his
machismo?
Because he was performing. It was a performance for Donald Trump.
Didn't you know?
I was wondering.
Performance for Donald Trump.
You're out there pumping up.
Donald Trump is very impressive. He's taken his 2 largest campaign promises, no new wars and lower prices, ending inflation, and he's messed both of them up. He started a new war that spiked inflation, and now this war is actively failing. An interesting statistic is that Americans have spent collectively $23 billion extra dollars on the gas pump, and that's money that could have gone towards daycare, towards childcare. We'll sit here and you'll laugh at Americans spending money, but the reality is we are failing this war. The purpose of a war is to extract political concessions from the enemy. Can you name a single political concession we've gotten from them? Anything at all?
Or are you talking to
any political concession? Because you can't name one.
So here's what we're doing.
No political concessions.
When you get up past your bedtime, you get hyper. Here's the deal. We have a clear issue here.
You're shaking, bro.
We have a clear issue here. No nuclear weapons for the largest state sponsor of terrorism in the world. Period. Full stop. The president believes, and he may be right. I spoke to a retired Rear Admiral today, Mark Montgomery, who's at the Foundation for Defense of Democracies. They think the blockade is actually more effective than the military campaign. And a little patience on the blockade here, where we cripple the Iranian economy, where we kill their currency, which is happening as we speak, where we put pressure on China because they need to get their oil flowing again. A little bit of patience right here, not bombs, but patience on a naval blockade, could get the outcome you want, which is no nuclear weapons for the largest state sponsor of terror.
You've been saying this for 8 weeks, and we are now past the 4 to 6 week deadline. Where is the enriched uranium right now?
It's under rubble.
Where is it right now? In the United States or Iran? Iran still has the enriched uranium. They still have the scientists scattered across their country, and they have all of the blueprints in the cloud. You can sit there and act confused, but you can't name a single political concession that we've gotten from Iran.
It's not over yet.
Okay, but also on that fact,
There it is, Adam Mockler being condescending again. He thinks he scored a point with the political concession line. He did not. Listen carefully. The goal of stopping Iran from building a nuclear weapon is not a piece of paper signed at a ceremony. It is their enriched uranium buried under rubble. It is their currency collapsing. It is their scientists scattered. That is the concession. That is the real outcome. They are conceding by being physically unable to build a bomb. You do not negotiate with a regime that chants death to America. You take the capability away, period. And the forever war narrative, save it please, Adam. This is not Iraq. This is not Afghanistan. There is no nation building. There are no boots on the ground occupying Tehran. There are precision strikes, sanctions, and a naval blockade. China is bleeding in its economy because they are the primary client of the Iranian oil. That is targeted action, not a forever war. 8 weeks is not endless. You know what was endless? The 1979 hostage crisis. The 1983 Beirut barracks bombing. Decades of IEDs in Iraq funded by Iranian cash, killing American troops. Iran has been at war with the United States for 47 years. We're finally responding. Mockler wants you to confuse response with aggression. Do not let him.
Why are we talking about the strategy of this? This isn't a legal war. This is terrorism. We are turning our military into pirates. We are seizing civilian vessels. Additionally,
sanctioned Iranian vessels that have gone through a DOJ process.
We are.
You call piracy and if words don't have any meaning, but like we have sanctions against these vessels, and the EU has sanctions against these vessels. In some cases, the UN has sanctions.
But one of the most egregious aspects of this is the white Christian nationalist twist.
When this young lady couldn't actually argue on facts and intelligence, she brings in the word white nationalist. What do you think?
Pete Hegseth has added onto this, saying that this conflict that we started, that we have sacrificed our own service members for, is ordained by God. Is bombing a school full of schoolgirls ordained by God? Is our prices going up and us not being able to afford an ambulance, we call an Uber instead? Is that ordained by God?
In 1983, I was in Beirut when the Marine Corps barracks was blown up by a suicide bomber sponsored by the Iranians.
It's not 1983,
230 Marines died.
That's awful. That's terrible. But that is not. It's
they
not
also
1983.
took out a couple of dozen at the U.S. Embassy.
Geraldo, we
downtown
murdered an
Beirut.
entire school of children.
You can't make
2 of them.
You can't make them, suddenly a victim.
Okay, the real question is, what have we gotten?
I actually think the school children are victims. I think the civilians that are dead are
so
victims.
Are the Marines.
Yeah, I do. But hold on. I do think. Just to be clear, I mean, obviously, Marines being killed is terrible. School children being killed is terrible. But there's a big difference between Iran willfully bombing, U.S. military targets, and the United States bombing a school and then not acknowledging it, which is its own separate problem. But the school children are civilians. They're civilians point blank. They should never be targeted. We are, according to some people, already at the 60-day mark. Of this war, and technically they're supposed to come to Congress on it. Pete Hegseth was questioned about this today. Listen to this.
The War Powers Resolution specifies that a war initiated by a president without congressional approval must be concluded within 60 days.
Ultimately, I would defer to the White House and White House counsel on that. However, we are in a ceasefire right now, which our understanding means the 60-day clock pauses or stops in a ceasefire. You're not in. Yeah. It's our understanding, just so you know.
Okay, well, I do not believe the statute would support that.
I mean, that was essentially how the Obama administration interpreted the statute.
And Republicans disagreed with it at the time.
100%. I think it would be cleaner.
So just to be clear, yeah.
It'd be a good act of constitutional hygiene, and it's not you need to conclude within 60 days. You need to conclude or have authorization from Congress within 60 days.
Exactly. So they could come to Congress and get authorization. Why not?
Or they could challenge the statute, which, as somebody who has either sponsored legislation to repeal or reform every extant authorization for the use of military force and to reform war powers more broadly, I also have to confess the War Powers Act of 1974, the constitutional underpinnings of that are shaky. It may not hold up.
Maybe so,
does.
but it's the law of the land, and it has not been.
Congress
challenged.
has the power of the purse, and this is the reality: is that if Congress continues to authorize the Department of War, if they continue to pass the National Defense Appropriations Act, they continue to do that. That will
They're not
be
going to shoot
tacit
down the
consent.
Defense Act on the basis of a war that Donald Trump is
also-
starting.
but also-
Why would we shoot down all of our
the
defense?
National Defense
That's
Act.
different than
The
national
National
defense.
Defense Act comes up once a year. I think it's probably this year. It's usually toward the end of the year.
They also are requesting a supplemental before.
They're requesting a supplemental, but they haven't actually.
Exactly. That is a question nobody on that panel could answer. Peter Meijer just nailed it. He exposed the entire flaw in the ceasefire argument. And while we're at it, let me walk you through why he's the only adult in the room. 5 points. Here we go. Number 1, the 60-day rule is not a deadline to end the war. It is a deadline to get authorization. Adam Mockler had it backwards. Peter Meijer corrected instantly. Number 2, the War Powers Act of 1973 has shaky constitutional underpinnings. Reagan, Clinton, and Obama all worked around it, so somehow it's a problem when Trump does it. Every serious legal scholar knows the act may not even survive a real challenge. Peter Meijer was honest and intelligent enough to say it on CNN, which is significant. Number 3, Congress holds the real check through the power of the purse. They could defund this tomorrow if they wanted to. They have not. That tells you everything you need to know about whether this war is illegal. Spoiler, it's not. Spread the word. Number 4, Meijer offered the administration a strategic gift. Going to Congress for authorization is not required. Trump has the Article 2 authority as commander-in-chief, but if he wanted to silence every critic on the left and lock the vote in on the record, the option is there. That is not Meijer attacking Trump. That is Meijer handing the White House a tool. Number 5, a naval blockade is itself an act of war. You cannot claim a ceasefire while seizing vessels. Either it is a ceasefire or it's not. They do need to pick a lane. That is the kind of constitutional debate Republicans should be leading and also spreading and educating and propagating. Forget the CNN circus. This is a conversation we need to be having.
Done that fully yet. And I do think it raises the question, do they just get to pause this thing whenever they feel like it, even though there is an active blockade? And a blockade involves the U.S. military threatening with force that if any
an act of war.
Yeah, it is considered an act of war. So how does that not count?
I think that interpretation, however, is subject to reasonable acceptance and interpretation. If indeed there is a ceasefire, don't you want to encourage the ceasefire? Don't you want to encourage this peace?
Yeah, but there's also a naval blockade, which is by definition not a ceasefire.
But also,
still in war.
we're talking legalities when it comes to war powers and all this. This is bird law, right? It is not governed by reason. You know, you can't get. No, it's always sunny
What do you
Philadelphia
mean?
fans here. Come on,
Can I just take it back for
Wait.
1
What
second?
do you mean by bird law? Just
I mean, when we try to apply like normal rhetoric, normal logic, normal dictionary definitions.
as we do in a democracy. Like, we're not Iran. We don't get to just like
we're
ignore
also
the law.
ignoring the
But not in a
international legal
jurisprudential sense,
repercussions
right?
here.
If we're talking about that, what international legal repercussions?
This is a war of aggression.
What is international law? Who's enforcing international law?
Who is
It's
the
a
aggressor
fiction.
here?
Us. We are the aggressor.
Against
we launched
Iran?
this war. Yes.
Just
It started on February 28th.
Listen, we all know.
I mean, honestly, they have been at war with us for 47
We
years.
all know that Scott Jennings is more than happy to defend a war with a country that starts with the letters IRA that we are currently failing, that is going to put us trillions and trillions of dollars more in debt. I was only a few years old while you were in the administration defending prior endless wars. Now this war is failing.
8 weeks is endless to you?
Okay, you said it was going to be 4 to 6 weeks.
You have the
Wait a
attention
minute,
span
dude.
of a gnat? Is that
Homie,
what you
I
have?
debated you on
Okay.
TV 4 to 6 weeks ago, and you said we were weeks away from it. Now you're making condescending remarks because you can't defend the fact that this war is not going your way. Wait, one more time.
Not
Can you
going your
name
way.
one political
Get your
concession.
fucking hand out of my
Name
face
one political
first.
concession.
whoa, guys,
Honestly, I'm
excuse
not
me.
going
Hold
to
on,
have
hold
this guy's hand
Everybody,
in my face.
everybody, hang tight.
Honestly.
Okay. No, everybody, calm down. Okay. We're having a debate. You can respond to the points that he's making.
Can you name a political concession that we've got?
We're-
I just had a flashback to the war the skinheads had in my studio.
I would be mad if I
Okay.
had to defend war too. I would be mad if I had to defend
we have a-
this
we
war
have a
too.
Scott, you can respond.
We have
and
a
then
very
we'll move
simple. We have a very simple goal: to keep terrorists and a terrorist regime from having a nuclear weapon that can threaten the United States, our interests in the region, our allies in Europe, anybody else
So
in
you
the world.
can't answer the question.
That is,
Thank
that
you.
is
I
our
would get
goal.
mad too.
All right, we're going to leave it there, guys.
Pete Hegseth was right. Scott Jennings was right. Adam Mockler asked for that F-bomb. Peter Meijer was the constitutional adult. Iran is broke. Iran is isolated. We're putting real pressure on China. Iran does not get a nuke. That is a win. It is a win for America and for the rest of the world. If you want more reactions cutting through the noise, hit subscribe and stay loud. Spread the words. I'm Peacemaker. I'll see you on the next one.